What's up guys, Mike Thurston here. Today's video I'm going to take you through my favourite chest exercises. I was going to do a top 5, but I decided to add one more to the list. Now these exercises should give you a full rounded, thick, sexy chest, okay? But I would bear in mind when picking your exercises, you have to decide for yourself what area of your chest you want to work upon, okay? There's no point going into the gym doing loads of lower pec focused exercises if you're trying to target your upper chest, okay? It's just common sense, right? So, without further ado, I'm going to start off with the first exercise of my choice, which would be the barbell bench press. So first thing you want to do when it comes to the barbell bench press is to get yourself in the right position. As soon as the barbell is above your chest, pull your shoulders right back and then begin with the movement. You want to make sure that you keep your shoulders retracted throughout the entire set. So even if you need to readjust halfway through at the top of each rep, just do it, because if you put your shoulders too far forward, there's going to be too much tension on your shoulders and then you'll more than likely injure yourself or cause damage somewhere. Remember, the goal of this exercise is to keep the tension on the chest as much as possible. So a little tip for you, what I tend to do is imagine that I'm trying to push my hands together when I'm pulling the weight down and pressing forward. So that intention of pushing my hands together increases tension on my chest. It's worth noting that hand positioning will make a difference, but I would vary it from time to time. The closer your hands are together, the more tricep recruitment that is going to occur. The next exercise, which is on the top of the list, is the incline dumbbell press. I've chosen this one over the incline barbell press simply because I feel as though I get a better contraction on my chest and it allows you to get a greater range of motion. So keys with this, when it comes to doing the incline press, you want to vary the angle at which you're pressing. Keeping the angle the same, the entire time that you do an incline press is only going to work the same fibers over and over again. So vary it from time to time, all the way from 45 degrees down to 20 degrees. It doesn't matter, just mix it up. Again, with all chest exercises, you want to keep your shoulders back as much as possible. And I think this exercise is where most people will feel their shoulders creeping forward simply because of the angle of your torso. It's very easy to do. So you just got to keep the weight lighter than you probably would do usually and ensure that the tension is being placed on the chest. If you can't squeeze your chest at the top of the movement and you don't feel any tension there, you're not doing it properly, or you're not doing it as well as you could do. So drop the weight, drop the ego, and maximize the effectiveness of this exercise. I always try to imagine when the weight is at the bottom of the position, as I press it up, I'm trying to bring my elbows together and trying to get my elbows to touch. It's that intention of bringing my elbows together which helps me to get that contraction at the top of the movement. So the next exercise we move on to is the incline cable fly. Now, I've chosen this one for a number of reasons, but the main reason is because at the top of the movement, due to the direction at which the cables are pulling your hands away, you are able to maintain tension at the top of the movement and you can squeeze your pecs. So if you compare it to the dumbbell fly, when the dumbbells are directly above you, because gravity is pulling down straight through your arms, it's very hard to get that squeeze, get that contraction. Most people simply relax at this point, but because the cables are pulling your hands apart, you're never really relaxing, or you shouldn't be relaxing. The same goes for all chest exercises. Keep your shoulders back as much as possible, squeeze the contraction at the top of the movement, and I would recommend varying the angle of that incline from time to time just to recruit different fibers. I feel as though this one is quite effective at hitting the upper chest as well, so if that's your weaker area, I would bear that in mind. And again, when it comes to thinking this one through, I have the intention of trying to bring my elbows together at the top of the movement. So as I bring the weight down, it's okay for your elbows to bend a little bit to ease with the stress on your shoulders, but as you bring those handles back up to the top, you want to try and straighten your arms and bring those elbows together. Guys, when it comes to training your chest, you need to decide for yourself how many times are you going to train it. If it's a strong point, like it is for me, there's no need for me to train it more than once per week. It just simply isn't necessary. I don't even need to go to the gym and spend one full session training chest either. It's a waste of my time when I could be potentially training another body part within that session, okay? So if it is a weak part, you need to somehow fit it into your training regime where you're training it twice per week or maybe twice every 10 days, something like that. The next exercise I have picked is the decline dumbbell press. I've gone for dumbbell simply because you get a greater range of motion. I feel as though I get a better contraction with it and it's more effective for me personally. It's not to say the decline barbell press isn't effective, but it's just a personal preference. I will mix it up from time to time, but this one I feel trumps the barbell. Again, I feel as though it's good because of the angle of your torso. It's much easier to keep your shoulders back. It's harder to push your shoulders forward when the angle of your torso is on a decline. I feel as though this one is also extremely effective at getting the outer lower sweep of the chest. So as you can see from the exercises I've chosen so far, all the pressing movements are covering all angles of the torso. You've got decline all the way from flat all the way to incline. And if you want a full 3D thick chest, you want to be hitting all these different exercises. Next one I would go for is the standing cable fly. Again, I feel as though this one's really effective, and it's one I see many people do wrong because they're either lifting too heavy or they just allow their shoulders to creep forward and they just don't get as much contraction and tension placed on the chest as they should. The shoulders are doing all the work, particularly the front delt. So keep upright, keep your posture steady, and don't allow the shoulders to creep forward. So reduce the weight if you need to. Again, with the cable fly, which you saw earlier, I have the intention of trying to bring my elbows together at the bottom of the movement. Okay, this is the function of the pec, to bring your elbow across the body. So you want to get that elbow across your body as much as possible to shorten the pec. Don't try and keep your elbows bent and just bring your hands together because you're not doing it as well as you could be. If you haven't already seen it, I've done a full video on the common mistakes people make when training chest. So click on this link and you'll see me go through a full description and tutorial of how to perform the majority of the chest exercises which people tend to mess up on. So guys, there you have it. Those are my top exercises when it comes to training chest. There's a few exercises which I missed out. For me personally, I don't find the incline or decline barbell press as effective as incline and decline dumbbell pressing. I just feel as though the range of motion which I can get along with the contraction is much more effective when using dumbbells. And when it comes to using the pec deck machine, I just don't feel that places enough tension upon the chest. I feel as though every time I do a pec deck machine, it's hitting my anterior delts. So that's me personally. You will probably have exercises which you struggle with. Sometimes you might just have to practice a little bit more with them. Sometimes you have to lower the weight, or sometimes, you know, you just might be better off avoiding it. Okay, each to their own. That's what I'm going to say. A couple of exercises which didn't make the cut include the chest focus leaning dip and also the seated upright cable press. These are both very good exercises, but just didn't quite make my top 5, but still worth doing nevertheless. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out. Hope you reach those chest goals of yours, and I'll have more videos to come, particularly which exercises are going to target your upper chest more so, and maybe some routines which are going to target different areas of the chest. I think that's something I would like to do in the future, so yes, stay tuned and check it out. Thanks for watching.